Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're hailing from. Welcome to the SIG ContribEx Kubernetes upstream marketing team meeting. It's a mouthful, but we are here. And we're going to do awesome contributor highlighting. Just to let everybody know, this is a CNCF meeting. As such, the CNCF Code of Conduct applies. So please be excellent to everyone and everything will be okay. I will not have to tell your mother what you're doing out in the open source community. And with that, I would like to open the floor to any updates or big wins. I will put in one. Deborata is now Kaslan's shadow as of a few minutes ago when I merged the PR.
I thought it would auto merge, but then it didn't, right?
Well, you have to do LGTM and approve.
I thought I already had approve.
Did it? Because it certainly wasn't.
Didn't auto merge.
Merged.
Yeah.
It certainly didn't merge.
Yeah. Who knows?
I wonder if because there were changes, it didn't go back and auto merge, because it'll undo the LGTM and approves if there's changes. I can't find the tab. I swear I had it open. I am in like tab hell, just to let everybody know. Varying degrees of tabbery.
Also on that, is Deborata on here? No, I don't think so.
I don't see him on.
No, but we'll probably try to have a one-on-one meeting sometime this week and go over what shadow can and should entail and what we should document about it, since we should document everything about this concept.
Yeah, we really should. We can talk about it later in the meeting because I have discussion items on that. How about that? So open action item. Oh, sorry. Does anybody else have any updates or big wins? Cool. So open action items. Katacoda needs to be PR'd into docs, dev site, places to promote that it exists. We need to talk about that as well. What's the ticket? Does anybody have that? That's here. Or is it on our boards by chance? Sadly, I can't find it.
What are you looking for? Sorry.
The Katacoda ticket stuff.
Yeah, I do not know. I've always been really bad with the GitHub boards, but now that I have that app.
There you go. I have history though to help me. Let's see. The basic tutorial has been closed. Was it merged? Let's see. The repository for the Katacoda scenarios has been created. Okay, so the repository is created. Contributor Katacoda is here. I mean, there's two issues. Let's see. Katacoda scenario for K website. That makes total sense. Deborata assigned himself 16 days ago. So I'm not sure what's left to do there, to be honest.
I think it's just promotion, right? Is what we're talking about.
Is that what we're talking about? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
PRing it into the product. Into the doc site is what we were saying, or the dev site.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there as a resource, tweeting it out. We should probably have a blog post.
That's a good point. We should have a blog post.
We should have a blog post.
And a mechanism for people to say maybe we just open a bunch of issues and it be various scenarios and have people vote on them. That's entirely possible too as part of that blog post.
We could make a blog post on the dev site. There's a start.
And then have people come back to issues and be like, hey, we want to see this before that kind of thing. So we kind of need to know what we want to build before we start promoting more, right? Like saying, hey, we have a great way of getting started with upstream development. And that's it. That's not really enough for a blog post. So I think this would be a great opportunity to be like, okay, what other Katacoda scenarios can we do? And I think there's some listed in this ticket.
I think it's a start. A lot of people have trouble.
Right.
That's why he made it. Explaining the problem that it solves will give us a blog post on that.
Yeah. Oh, so in the ticket, it's still open for K website. Implement these 3 Katacoda scenarios. Running the website using a container, running the website locally using Hugo, and building the API reference pages. Interesting.
I don't know what all the current Katacoda includes. I don't know if it has those things.
It does not. It's just kind of the upstream.
Okay.
Basically new contributor workshop upstream, like install and let's get going kind of thing.
Could you send the link to that issue?
Yes.
I'll add it in the notes.
It's in the notes as well. Oop, not there. There. Okay. Cool.
Perfect.
Yeah. So I think we can get started on a blog post at any point in time. And then as we go through things, we can say, hey, add an issue to the board or vote on issues that are already there. If we come up with some scenarios on our own, I think that would be awesome. But yeah, you know, any point in between here and there is acceptable for a blog post to me.
I'm still grabbing things. We had so many last week.
Yeah, I know. We actually had a productive session last week.
We did. It was fabulous.
That's what happens when Paris shows up.
Yeah, that's how that works. Almost like she created this group, as you said. Also, I wanted to shout out and thank you to Perniswar. I'm guessing you're the one who created the notes for this week. I went into the notes doc and it was already there. And I appreciated that. I noticed that you were in there, so I'm guessing that was you. So thank you. I'm just going back to grabbing all of those to-dos.
This issue is open to work, right? The Katacoda scenario.
Yeah, Dev assigned himself, but I haven't seen any PRs coming in. And
there's enough to-dos in there that you could definitely split that work up. So you might want to ping Debabrata to see what he's done there, if anything, and then have at it if you want to work on it. The work would be much appreciated.
Yeah, like you can assign there can be multiple assignees to the ticket, and then you can just tag them in the ticket, or not ticket, issue, and you can say, yeah, hey, I'd like to work on this too. Let's split this up and be like, I want to do X. Yeah, you can do all that coordination there if you want. Or
I see there are 2 issues currently, like some Katacoda scenario for Windows users.
The Windows users one, I think, is a dead stick based off what we heard back from Katacoda. Let me double check. I need to update that. Hang on. Rally partner team. They said we are not supporting window environments and currently do not have plans to. All right.
Yeah, he was telling of building some custom thing for the Windows users. Deba was telling.
Interesting. It's almost like we need them here or something. Put that in this ticket issue. Why do I keep calling them tickets today? Gosh.
Same.
It just tells you how old I am. All right, so I updated that ticket. That issue. Jeez, please. I need the electric shock thing in my headphones back. Every time I say ticket, shock me.
The part 2 of the documentary is like releasing just after the meeting, right?
The part 2 of documentary?
Yeah.
This documentary?
That should drop today in a few minutes, I think.
Is that today? So
Yeah.
Yeah, just after the meeting, I just checked YouTube.
so prep a tweet for part 3. So we should
Is it
do that
3
right
parts,
now.
or? Okay.
I assume there will be a third part because the first part was only like 20-some minutes. And I assume
don't-
it's
They left
over
it
an
at a
hour.
cliffhanger.
I thought it was a 2-parter,
Okay, so maybe it is only
I
2
don't know.
parts. So
but we can still call it part 2.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
we could
yeah.
PR in a tweet for that and actually use our repo in this meeting.
We
and send it
could.
out on time.
That would be crazy talk.
Wow. Actually doing our jobs. By jobs, I mean
Wow.
volunteer work.
Yeah. Jeez. Yeah, such is life. All right. So we said tweets needed. Sorry, I'm not sure where we are in the docs. Okay.
Okay, I think I've got about all of the
Did we
action items.
did we confirm validate worked? I believe we did. I don't
Yeah,
know.
you were talking about this last time and I wasn't exactly sure what was going on with it.
So yeah, Deb and we had a tweet and I was like, why won't this revalidate? Like you added a space and it should revalidate itself. And like
Yeah.
it didn't.
Okay.
So it was weird. It was fine. I still pushed it out, but it was like, where did the validate function go? I think he went and added it during the last meeting, like added a tweet, retested it and everything, and it was fine. But I don't know if we got.
So what did we want to
confirmation.
tweet about the validate command?
I don't think we want to tweet about the validate command. I think we need to make sure it works.
Yeah. Well, I think there's also something there though. I mean, what if
Is
we
there?
made a tweet like, hey,
There's
did you
commands
know
you
if
can
you're
use.
working in the Kubernetes
Mhm.
repositories, there's a command /validate. If you send that as a comment, it will revalidate the issue. I think like little contribution tips like that would be fantastic for us to post regularly on the Twitter.
Mhm. I have no idea why my computer's so slow today. I typed the words and waited a few seconds and then they appeared.
How is validate different from try as accepted?
How was validate different from which one?
The one, there is some command like try as accepted, right? Bug triage.
Oh, triage accepted.
Triage accepted, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with that one. Validate reruns the checks that it runs, like easy CLA. Does it have LGTM? Does it have approved?
Is it
There are a
under
lot of commands
280
like that.
characters? That kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, in our
Uh,
repo specifically, it'll rerun that one.
Mhm.
Doesn't the prowbot does that same thing on its own?
It's a prowbot command.
Yeah, it's a command.
Hey, prowbot, go revalidate this. Go rerun your checks.
Because like it'll fail the checks. Like I just mentioned, like if you have labels like LGTM and approve already on there, but you've made changes after the fact, it will force you to reapprove and re-LGTM. So you want to revalidate that all the other stuff's good too, right? The CLA, everything else.
See, nobody knows this stuff. I don't know this stuff. So
Yeah, I'm actually trying to pull up the.
About
thing
triage
now.
accepted, it's more like the issues ready to be worked on in the documentation. If you, I just saw, it's
Yeah,
a label
triage,
that
yeah.
indicates the issues ready
Oh.
to be worked on.
so /triage accepted just adds a label.
Yes. Meaning like it's been triaged. We know this is an issue that hasn't been fixed yet. That kind of thing.
See, I think this is an opportunity for a tweet series that we could work on together. We could set up
Ooh.
a series of
What is it
tweets in our-
like?
Yeah, like how do we use
Yeah.
ProwBot? Because I don't know.
Well, I mean, I told I had a tweet I sent out personally this morning that did you know there's actually a prow tide command to squash your commits before merge? Like
Just put
that
it
is
on the
amazing
main
because that's
account.
constantly a problem, right? So it's like here's 2 sites that you need to have as a Kubernetes contributor. It's a link to the test info page that lists out all the tide commands and a link to the ProwBot page that has all the prow commands. And it's like, here you go. Here's all the fun stuff you can do without using GitHub. You just use this instead in the
So that
comments.
tweet has the links in it?
No, I need to send, I have one tweet with one link in it.
Okay.
What we need to do is have both tweets with both links on it.
You should do that. And also we should do that.
Right. Yes. Like this is part of that evergreen tweet thing that I'm talking about, right? Like we could do that now. We could do that every quarter, right? Like there's no wrong on that, I feel
Yeah.
like. Let's see. Tide commands. There we go. But oh, I'm in a, where am I?
Awesome.
Where am I? Label sync. Sync labels. I don't know if that's a good. Oh no, that's a. Go to the main branch, please. There we go. Okay. Where do you want me to put the 2 things, and then we'll workshop it in?
Right here.
It's in here. Yeah.
In here somewhere.
Woohoo. Well, I'll just say
Awesome.
stink labels. Labels. Help. And that is right here. Oh, damn it, where'd the notes go? All right, there you go. So between those
So-
2,
Yeah.
that's a great tweet, right? Like, do you
I'm
need
thinking-
help with our automation, our tooling, or whatever? Yeah, here you go.
I'm thinking we can also like include those on the further tweets that we make. Like we can do one that's just like, hey, go check out these links. And then we can do one that's like, hey,
Did you
/validate
know?
exists. It's a fantastic command. If you want to learn about other
Mhm.
commands, go check out these if we have room.
Right.
Which often you don't in tweets, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, did I tell my team? I feel like I told my team about it this morning. They were like, "Oh, I didn't know that exists." No, I didn't tell them yet. But somebody mentioned that to me like already.
okay.
Like I didn't know that existed. It could have
Yeah.
been you, Caslin, to be honest with you. Don't remember.
We go back and forth with like, this is how you do things. And then we
Mhm.
don't figure that out. And then we rediscover it later.
Mhm. Yeah.
Tweet related to /assign in the evergreen tweets list. Yeah. Adding that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Avinash.
There you go. Yeah.
I'm
sign
thinking,
is a big
would it,
one.
yeah, would it help people if we had like a list we can check off of, has someone created a pull request in the tweets repo for this ProwBot command,
I like that.
right?
Like talk about every ProwBot command.
Yeah,
There's
talk
so
about
many,
every
though.
ProwBot command. How would we do that though? Should we make it
Like, we
one of
should
those
make an
umbrella
issue-
issues?
Well, we make an issue with a checklist, basically, I feel like.
The checklists don't actually work though, do they? We just
That's
put them in
true.
there.
Like you just
And they're
add
not a real thing.
checkboxes.
You can add the
So it's
checkboxes,
like-
but then you can't check them.
And yeah, an updated,
They're kind of useless.
an umbrella issue that we can then have multiple PRs for. That's fine. Yeah. Let's
Also,
just do that.
before Matt left, we like got rid of all of our existing umbrella issues because we were bad about keeping up with them. So I'm wondering if this would be better in like a Google Doc or a spreadsheet or something outside of
As
GitHub.
far as like all the
Just the
prow-
to-do
like, all
list.
the oh yeah. Well, maybe. I mean, hey, we have this to-do list
Oh.
of stuff
We could have an umbrella issue that links to a spreadsheet where you can actually check things off.
We could.
Yeah.
Yeah, if anybody's familiar enough with Prow, just to get a list of commands available from Prow.
It should be in one of these links you just gave us, right?
I mean, you would think, but like command help, there's no like external Prow API, I don't think, right? Like, or there might be. Let's see. Command help, tied status, PR status, plugins, documentation. Ooh, what's in docs?
I mean, there's got to be a list somewhere. Yeah. But it's giant, so we don't need all of them. But
Right, like we need to figure out maybe what are the top ones that are used, if that makes sense.
ooh, so much good work in here.
Yeah, like test infra is the group to ask for sure, right? Like how we figure out which ones are the most popular kind of thing, but it's all kind of documented here. Like the Prow page is basically there for us, at least for Kubernetes test infra at the very least. So you have components, plugins, Prow jobs. No, metrics. Ooh, I want metrics. No, never mind. Prow jobs, Prow webhook. Huh, okay. Prow, oh, Kubernetes Prow metrics. Here we go. Page here. See if there's any good dashboards. No, no dashboards. Yeah, no dashboards. No dashboards. That's cool. Oh, there we go.
Is there a dashboard of ProwBot commands
Yes.
you're finding in dev stats? Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Well,
big brain plays right here. Would never have thought to look there.
And it's not actually that great. The ProwBot dashboard is
Also
like,
not terribly shocked by that, but
yeah.
Also, folks, if you haven't checked out dev stats, you know what, something else we should tweet about.
That is definitely something we should tweet about, because guess what? I've been affiliated with CNCF for the past 3 years. That means my 3 years at Red Hat, they got no credit for any of the work I did. So that was interesting. And there's actually like a non-obvious place that you have to go to update them, which I think is super fun. And it's called like Get DM or something. There we go. Yeah, like keeping that up to date, like they scrape LinkedIn, it looks like, but keeping that up to date and updating, making sure your thing is right is vitally important.
Could you
for the health
of
the community. Yeah,
those links in here?
The chat. Let me throw it in the doc.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. I can grab it from the chat.
I got it. Let's put it in.
Wow.
Affiliation.
I bet I haven't done that. I bet nobody does that.
If you updated LinkedIn, yes, it will.
Oh, it automatically works.
It does it like kind of batches, right? Like it actually had my full like work history minus like a couple gaps, and it even accounted for the gaps, right? Like if I had a gap in like time, like if I took December off before starting a new job, for example, it listed me as independent because I still did some stuff in the community and it was listed as independent at the time.
What magic we have.
It was pretty interesting to like dive into my entire like 4, 5, 6 year history with Kubernetes and be like, wow, they kept track of everything. Yeah, I guess I was out of work for a couple months there. Yeah, didn't really, you don't think about it in hindsight, but yeah, like there's definitely some people that are probably misaffiliated, I would say at this point.
CNCF ambassadors, we wouldn't have any experience with that kind of thing.
No, and that's another good point. If you're an ambassador, please make sure you update your ambassador
I don't think
thing.
that's something for us to tweet, though. That's
No,
more of a
it's
CNCF
not.
thing.
That's more of a CNCF thing. But
Let them handle that.
we need to
Just post in
tweet
the-
that more often as an
That's
ambassador
true.
community.
That's true.
But that's neither here nor there for this meeting.
Indeed.
Um,
Separate concern. So I added that. I think actually I will make that like a sub piece of this dev stats tweet. 2 tweets needed here about dev stats. One that it exists, 2 that you should update your affiliation.
right. Did you know that DevStats exist? And yesterday I pulled up DevStats for the entire Kubernetes org and found out I was in the top 1,000 contributors. I also found out
Whoa.
a coworker of mine is 263rd in just Kubernetes contributions. Super cool. Like when you start digging into DevStats. So
Do you have
Yeah,
the dev
like, if
stats
you-
link handy?
I do for that.
Could you throw that in here?
Yes. Let's see. DevStats, because I did bookmark it because I knew it would be important.
Yeah, because every time I want to find it, I've got to go find it again.
I mean, it's Kate's DevStats stuff.
Yeah, it's
.io, but like,
straightforward, but
that's
still
not-
not going to remember it.
yeah, it's not something you would.
Oh,
just
thank you,
remember.
Avinash. Avinash got it.
Oh, sweet. Thank you. But specifically, what was I looking at yesterday? Let me find a thread in Slack.
And if you want to claim any of these tweets, feel free. You could like claim it in this doc if you want to. Be like, hey, I'm going to take this one in a comment
Yeah, here we go. Developer
or
activity
something, or
group.
right under it or something. Feel free to claim things because we can be each other's accountability buddies and help each other actually get this work done.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't want to be competitive in nature here, right? Like, but this link that I'm just putting in now covers the entire Kubernetes org. The top table covers that entire org setting, and then below it is KK alone, which is, obviously Kubernetes. So, like, for example, Jordan Liggett across the entire org, 52,784 commits specifically within KK, 45,301, which to me is an insane, or I should say not commits, but I guess actions within GitHub. Contributions is what they call it, not GitHub actions.
So they include like
clear.
creating
Yeah.
issues, merging PRs,
Commenting potentially,
commenting.
yeah, the whole 9 yards.
That's good.
So yeah. And there's some folks in here that like we all know and love. It's really interesting, right? Like I didn't
Or if you
didn't
don't,
r-
you should grow to learn.
yeah, right.
know and
Like
love.
I would say Tim and Dims and yeah, everybody are good people to be friends with. Yeah, there's so many people I know on this list. It's kind of funny, but even being in the top 1,000 of all Kubernetes contributions, I thought was a really cool stat. So when it's that time of year for my boss, so yeah, you can go show them, be like, hey, this is the impact I've had.
I'm actually going to swap our first tweet to just this rather than full dev stats, because full dev stats is all of CNCF, right? So just the Kubernetes
Right, and it's
project.
very overwhelming to go land on that page because there are so many projects now. But if you're like in the GitOps working group, like I am, you can go see stats there. It's pretty cool. My opinion. What do I know though?
Okay, so I moved that to be the first tweet that we need. So we need 2 tweets on dev stats. One is dev stats for Kubernetes exists. And the second one is telling people that they should be aware of their affiliation which we need in order to keep dev stats accurate.
Mhm.
Which this link didn't work for me, by the way.
Which link?
Okay. Oh no, now it's working. I don't know. The first time I clicked the
I've had-
affiliations link, it didn't work for some reason, but now it's fine. So
Yeah,
never mind.
I've had a lot
Just
of
me.
internet weird issues today too. So there's something going on out there in the world. But it even breaks it down by like the sandbox projects, the incubating projects, the whole 9 yards. So you can like deep dive into anything if you want. If you want to know how many contributions are happening in the Flux community, it's there. It's pretty cool.
And then there's 2 tweets from last week moving on in our list. Imagine that. That's a thing we can do. There's 2 Kubernetes org updates that we ought to tweet. One of them is that we have a new mailing list, and the other one is that we have a new community meeting, which the community meeting will probably also be a series if we could actually make series as a thing.
I think we need to just queue those up to be scheduled in TweetDeck, to be honest with you.
Ideally. I mean, we can also do them in the repo and just
Hold
say this is
until-
when it needs
yeah.
to go.
That's true. Let's do that instead because that's more trackable.
Yeah, and we need to open
Because
it
we
up to
should
more
have
people.
multiple tweets about this, right? Like one of us should go to Laura Santa Maria and say, what would you like us to say publicly about the upcoming, community meeting? Not to put any pressure on her or anything, just say like, how is this going to be different than previous ones? What is a community meeting all about now? That kind of thing. Another
Yeah.
great way to like, that could turn into a blog post potentially, running the community meeting, interview with Laura Santa Maria.
Yes. Is
Like,
there
all
someone
that
on
stuff.
here on the call today who would like to take that action item? You would need to reach out to Laura Santa Maria in Slack and ask her what she wants us to tweet about the new community meetings.
Mm-hmm. The format change, the frequency change, that kind of everything, right? Like, sky's the limit there.
Are we talking about tweet or blog?
We're currently talking about tweets.
Tweets, but it could, you could have enough meat when you're done having a conversation to do a blog. So if you're like, hey, I've got the tweets, but I've got all this other data here in the conversation, we can parse that out to be a blog as well.
Yeah. So basically you need to have a conversation with Laura to get the details about the new community meeting. Potentially make a blog from that.
Potentially. You're not signing up to do the blog, you're signing up to do the tweets with maybe the chance of doing a blog, or maybe a chance to hand it off to somebody else.
So would someone like to take that action item? I think this is a great thing for someone. Like I said, you should get to know those awesome people in the dev stats if you don't, and this is a great opportunity to do that. Any volunteers?
I'll take that.
Yay, you
Awesome.
can do it.
Thank you, Avanesh. Thank you. I believe in you. I do. And if you need me to do an intro, I'm more than happy to, right? Like that goes for anybody here. Like if you want to talk to somebody, but you'd rather have an intro first, let me know. Even if I haven't talked to them in a long time, I can still do an intro.
The series of tweets that is set to be done, like, is it like one tweet after another, or is it a Twitter thread?
So like we could just do it as a tweet series. I don't know if you can thread yet.
Oh yeah,
with
you can't
Twitter
thread
together.
using
Yeah.
Twitter together.
There's
Yeah,
so
we can't.
I did a cursory look for things like Twitter together. There's more
Nice.
options out there now
That was one
than
of our
there
to-do lists.
were before. So if somebody like, if somebody wants to go look at opposing tools or other tools other than Twitter together in the GitHub Actions arena, feel free, because we could potentially find something that has all these things that we want, like scheduling and threads and, you know, all through GitHub. That would be great. So there's opportunity there for some technical work if folks want it.
Does anyone, should I assign people's names to
I
these
would
so that
just
we know what
put
people are
that
working on?
as, yeah. I mean, we should take this list, put it somewhere other than in this doc, right?
That is
Like-
true. Well, that is actually one of the list items in the doc. Make these action items into issues on GitHub.
Perfect.
So if someone would like
But
to
yeah,
take
the
it-
actual content that we come up with, we should have a doc to dump that in, right? Like topic, kind of, and then what you tweeted. That way we can say, like, come back 6 months from now and be like, oh, we haven't talked about this in a while. Here's a tweet, and just slightly modify it. Off you go, right? It can kind of be a living doc too. Like when you modify it to go out the door and it's like been approved and everything, replace it. That way, you know, like that doc is versioned in Google, so you can go back and look if you want. Or just add on, actually just add on to it. Just continue adding on tweets, because we can go back and wordsmith and everything else.
You mean in PRs?
I mean, like in the doc itself. So like if we have a PR merge about a topic, we should have a doc that lists all the topics that we're trying to talk about, and then list all the tweets that go out for each topic as we tweet them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, welcome,
It's a
Deba.
constant, hey, I mean, this could be a gist or anything, right? It doesn't, like, some kind of living doc. It could be anything.
Mm,
I don't know.
Need an active.
An umbrella
list.
issue isn't good enough because it's not. Yeah, we need an effective way of keeping and list of an archival list. I mean, I guess we could say the Twitter account is that, but
But it's really not, because it's hard
it's
to
not.
find what
It's hard
tweets
to
have gone out.
pull, right? Like unless you do some crazy API things, which you'll hit a limit trying to pull hundreds or thousands of tweets. Trust me, I've tried. I think I have like 130 some thousand tweets or something like that. I last looked. There's no way I'm going to recover all those.
Yeah.
Right. Like I have to do the data takeout thing.
In the notes, I went ahead and assigned myself to the /validate command tweet. So I'm going to PR that in to
Okay.
the tweet repo. Please, other folks, follow my lead. And if you see a tweet in here that you would like to do, grab it. And if you're not sure what to do, reach out to one of us and we'll help you figure it out.
Yeah, also there is another tweet for today to go out, like the Kubernetes, the documentary part 2 is coming out. So yeah, that's also a
Yeah.
potential tweet.
We mentioned that already.
Yeah.
We're actually on top of things today. Aren't you surprised with us, Deba?
Well, we don't have a tweet PR ready.
Well,
to go
granted, we're
yet,
not that
but
on
yeah,
top of
we are
things.
talking about it.
Thank you for bringing it up.
Yeah. Let's see. Kubernetes
Who wants to own that?
validate?
Maybe I should own that.
I'm trying to
What's the most-
find documentation on validate, but guess what? It's not a primary prow command. It might just be just for us, which would be weird. What are we? Kubernetes community, right? Community. There we go. Test, retest. Validate, not there. Okay. See all commands. Why is it not listing them all? Oh, it's paged. That's why. It's paginated. Damn it.
Who wants to do the tweet about the Kubernetes documentary? Should I take that one since it needs to go out like immediately?
You can.
I will do that.
No problem with that. I can
I'm adding an
proofread,
assigned to line to all of the tweets that we need in the notes so that it's easy for folks to go in and grab one.
Beautiful.
Feel free to put your name and we'll get it done.
I'm trying to find out why it's not listed in all commands.
Awesome. Thank you, Parnaswara.
Prow is so much fun. I'm kidding. Huh. When in doubt, Google it. What? Google has failed me, Caslin.
What did we do?
Takes me back to the Prow page. Doesn't talk about validate. It's also giving me a bunch of bogus results. Probably
Just
because-
out of curiosity question, is the validate command working now in the repository?
We thought it
That
was.
was- we thought it was. We sent out a tweet. We tested it, didn't we?
Actually,
But what if
didn't
we
test,
send out another
like-
tweet?
We could. Let's just send out another tweet and make sure validate works. Because it might not do anything because I'm not seeing it in Prow right now.
Actually, last week I had a chat with Rajula regarding it. So he was
Yeah.
quite busy with some other works, but he said he will look into it this week and improve that part.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, I'll check in with Rajula on that then, since I assigned myself to that tweet.
Yeah, I will. Let me. Let's see. Where is our Kubernetes tweet
I'll also
thingy?
grab another tweet.
Group mentoring, God almighty. Tweets. There we are. Contributor tweets.
Oh, thank you, Tarva, for grabbing a tweet to do.
It is only for us. It is only
Slash validate.
Yeah, it is only in for job. Like if you go to the repo and go under the .github and workflows directory, I only see it there.
So we need to tweet about how labels work.
Yeah, I'm not the best person to ask about that because
Who is someone good to ask about that? Bob?
well, Bob's busy. Dims or anybody in test infra, really.
So we could just do it in that channel, SIG, test
Yeah.
infra.
I think it's a SIG now, right?
Yeah, it's a SIG test infra.
Okay, cool. I thought that went through. Is it test infra or just infra? What do we? I have no idea. Infra age, infra budget. Infra
So if
chatter.
someone would like to learn about how labels work and to teach the rest of us how that works, please assign yourself to that issue here. GitHub issue labels. Ask SIG test infra about how labels work.
Yeah, it's a SIG testing. Like in Slack, it's in the name of SIG testing.
SIG testing. Interesting.
Well, is SIG testing separate though from SIG test infra?
You know, it would help if I looked in the right
'Cause
Slack.
I remember I looked into SIG testing many years
Oh, are they
ago.
different?
Yeah, there are two different SIGs. So it's SIG testing and SIG Gates infra.
SIG
Kate's
Kates? Oh no, that's
infra.
different. That's
Okay.
different too, though, isn't it? That's
Is
the.
it?
Actually, that's probably it. What else would SIG testing infra mean?
SIG Kate's infra. There it is.
Okay.
And I'm already a member, so this has to be it.
Okay.
SIG testing is about the tests that are run against every PR. I don't think that's the right SIG.
Yeah, I think it's SIG Kates infra.
Yeah.
Mhm.
SIG dash Kate's dash infra.
SIG testing like makes software
Right,
tools
like they
for us to do
write
testing.
tests.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They maintain the grid, the Kubernetes grid and all those things.
Mhm.
Yeah, they do some interesting stuff.
Which is an intense job too.
I wanted
This
to join
group
that
is a
at one point.
yeah. I've actually remember it's like 2-3 years ago now. Like we had all that problem with the name of the Kubernetes YouTube channel. I got
Yeah.
so frustrated by trying to remember the name of it that I was like, nope, we have a shortener. I'm going to implement multiple ways of getting to YouTube with a shortened link. So yt.kates.io is my fault. But I learned the entire, like how to create a shortened link and how kind of test infra works. That group is very receptive to just having people come in and being like, yo, I'm trying to do this cool thing. Help me out. So yeah, like,
Also, we
we
should
ever need to
move along
do-
in our to-do list.
yeah, if we ever need to do any code work in there, I'm happy to help folks. But yeah, it looks like validate comes from somewhere. I just don't know if it's prowl. Doesn't look like.
So I added another thing into our open action items. I had it in campaigns in progress because it's just a campaign, but I will just put it into our open action items since we're having a lot of success with this section today, in my opinion. The steering committee's support, or this wasn't steering committee. This was
I
I
think we
messed that
changed
up.
it in the template at one point.
Yeah,
or
steering committee
dropped
support I will
it.
leave in campaigns in progress, but because I'm not sure we need to do there.
I th-
But I just caps locked it. The annual report support.
Right.
Annual
Oh,
report.
but yeah, we gotta get out in front of it.
Yeah. So what we need there is we need a tweet series of the various SIGs help wanted needs. So I think we should do the same issue and doc thing that we're talking about. So create an umbrella issue that links to a doc where we actually have listed out all of the SIGs for whom we need tweets. So I've assigned myself to that. I will create an issue and a doc to start tracking that. Something that we need more immediately. We want to start communicating with the SIGs that they need to contribute to the annual report. So I think we need to explore the Slack automation that we have, the Slack bot.
Mhm.
That's how we'll communicate. And I guess whoever takes that, should you reach out to Paris to see what's needed from the annual report? Or is there someone else? Paris
Yeah,
would
Paris
know,
will
right?
have access to the report itself. as it's getting built. So that's good to know, and good to like a weekly check-in with Paris would make sense for this person.
Yes.
Yeah,
What-
also like last time we had issues with the help wanted sections had some of the points which weren't quite like we didn't understand what is the meaning of those things. Those are very technical jargons. So we needed to reach out to SIGs again to simplify that for us. So this time we could avoid that.
Awesome. So
Awesome,
this,
yeah.
this will end up being several people who will help with this, I assume.
Yeah,
But
I'm more than helpful if like just if we're doing the umbrella doc thing,
yeah,
tag me. I will go ask the questions of this is too technical for us to tweet out.
if you're not
What do you
comfortable
think of
doing that,
X
you
or what
can
do you
have
think
Chris
of
do it
Y? Yeah, like I can totally do that for you.
if needed. So what's the first task that we need?
So someone needs to
Even
figure
I
out.
have the last year's documentation where we listed out this help me and tweeted that. I could share that with you.
What were you saying?
I have the last year's things, like last year I was
Oh.
tweeting those things. So I have the documentation. Send it to you.
Brilliant.
Yeah, we have a link in there already for that, I think. Tweets draft community annual report. We're up here.
Whoa, where are you?
Maybe I should be
There we
sharing
go.
my screen. But we have 2 minutes left, so I won't do that right this moment.
Yeah, don't, because it would take 2 minutes to work. But yeah, it's good to have this. I even have a bookmark, to be honest with you, because now we're talking about the 2022 annual report. If we're getting the same things, we need to rephrase what we're asking for potentially, right? Like if it's always the same thing, that's something we should consider maybe going back to the SIG and saying, are you always going to need this need? Should we make this an evergreen tweet, right? Like if we
Yeah.
see duplication, that's a perfect evergreen tweet, right? No doubt.
So the first action item I have in the annual report stuff is we need to create an issue and a doc to track which SIGs have help wanted tweets that we need to send out. So I've assigned myself and Devabrata that. Congratulations, you've been voluntold.
Beautiful.
So we'll work together on that this week.
Yeah, cool. All right.
And then for exploring the Slack bot and asking Paris what we need to communicate to SIG's contributors beyond just the help wanted tweets, we should assign someone to that.
Sorry.
We have 1 minute, so. Also, who knows about the Slack bot? Is it just for Jula? Because I know
I don't know about it.
Okay.
I wish I did. I'm sure I could find it.
I have to
Slack
message
info
Rajula
somewhere.
anyway, so I will check with Rajula on that.
And we have a Slack infra team, don't we? We do. Mhm.
The site management or something.
Right.
Like admins or something.
So it should be a slash command, I would think. Let me.
We're at the top of the hour, by the way. So
Okay.
if there are any last minute items that we want to go over.
Announce spot is what it's called.
I mean, I think this was the bulk of our content, really. It's just going over all of these action items we currently have.
So yeah, if you do a slash announce spot, that's what it, and just pick an announce spot. It lets you pick which SIGs you want to send it to, and off you go.
Perfect. So we don't need to explore that anymore. We
Nope.
use
It's slash announce, I think is the command. Well, you hit slash and then it pulls up all the options and it's post message and then ask you what you want to do and how many channels and what message to send. So that's super easy.
So we don't have an action item there. We just have an action item in asking Paris what we need to send out via the Slack
Send
bot.
Via, right. Okay.
All right.
Are we good? Everybody good? Everybody happy?
And if you want to work on something and you haven't claimed anything yet, there are several assigned tos, I think, that are still open in here. So look for assigned to. I'll like bold these, I guess. And if you want to grab any of those, feel free. You can at contributor comms in Slack if you need help, and
Mhm.
we'll get stuff done.
Let's get stuff done. I like that.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, have a good weekend if I don't talk to you between now and then. And let me know if you need any help. This concludes today's meeting, and stay safe and be kind. No, cancel, stop. Yes.